Hello class, welcome to the final week of the course. Great job getting this far. I know that it's been a lot of work and that you have covered a lot of content between videos that we've gone through and different types of assignments. So pat yourself on the back, you've done a great job and you are almost finished. This week, there are no discussions to participate in and there's just one final team assignment. So let's get into the assignment details. This week, you're going to continue the same topic that your week 9 video was on, right? So in week 9, you had a call to action, a short video where you were trying to get some type of response from the audience. And so the concept here is you're going to make a presentation as a team, likely PowerPoint, Canva, Google Slideshow, you can choose the format. And it's the same topic as your call to action topic, but you're basically going to be building out a strategic plan explaining how your original concept or call to action topic can be sustained over time, right? So let's use an example. Let's say you picked a topic that was related to improving recycling and, increasing the adoption of recycling in your community. The video itself, for the call to action that you've already completed, would probably focus on the challenges and harm to the environment if we don't do this, what you can do as an individual, and really just like in the immediate, like what do you want me to do as the listener? Here, you're going to be a little more detailed in mapping out how would you have the same topic, process improvement or initiative continue over time, right? Beyond this class, and to take your ideas and have them turn into an ongoing initiative that makes a difference. So, some of the details that you'll see is you're going to revisit the issue and describe why it's important. You should already have that information, right? This is not a whole new topic. This is something that your group's already spent some time on. And you can restate or state your mission and vision for change. Talk about SMART goals for the longer term horizon for your initiative. SMART goals, if you're not familiar, I've got the acronym spelled out. But the idea is just setting a goal, right? If I set a goal, I want to learn to play the piano, right? Yes, that's a great goal. It's possible. But how do you break that down into actionable pieces that make it more likely to achieve? So that's where the idea of SMART goals come in. If you're not familiar with it, you can do a little bit of research. There's a ton of content out there. But a SMART goal is an acronym, stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound aspects of a goal. So instead of saying, I want to learn to play the piano, which is a goal, to be clear, if I wanted to use the SMART goal method, I might say, I'd like to learn to play 5 songs on the piano in the next 12 months, right? That's much more specific. Because I gave some dates and number of songs, it becomes measurable. It's certainly achievable. It's not completely unrealistic, right? It's something I could do. And then relevance and time-bound, you're just trying to make sure that it's not open-ended and that it's actually possible or makes sense, right? So within your proposal, and I would honestly suggest you just take this outline and build a framework or an outline, right? So if you had introduction, goals, stakeholders, action plan, resources needed, right? You could create these, we'll call it buckets for your outline, and then just start to fill in the information. Each of these components could be an individual slide or more. It depends on how much information you have. There's not a video component this week. There does not have to be a voiceover unless you want there to be. And so I'd like to think with everything you've done, both individually and as a team this semester, that you've now got a really strong toolkit and some great experience where building a presentation is something that you've done recently and you should feel more comfortable with. I would expect this being the final assignment, and it's essentially the final, right? It's kind of the capstone project, I would call it, is I would expect the highest level of work from your team in this final assignment. You've got the most experience you've had, some of the topic content you already have a head start on, right? This isn't like a new research project. And so what I'm really hoping to see is, in addition to addressing these essential components or criteria that I've laid out, I'm really hoping to see some creative and great looking presentations, right? A little more effort, or the same amount of effort as some of the other presentations that looked awesome. What I hope you've noticed is when I've graded all of the team assignments, I've shared some written specific feedback with each team, and I've actually written the feedback in the notes for your grade. So, for example, if the team 1 has 6 people, I would update everyone's grade, and then I'm actually copying and pasting the same team feedback for each individual. So you're getting my feedback on, great job on the layout. I really liked how you included a video, or the images looked really great, super high resolution, and they seem like they really supported the content, right? So I feel like you should have a good feel if your team has been meeting the expectations or exceeding the expectations based on my previous feedback. So again, single team assignment, right? It's a presentation. There's no voiceover or video required, but I have a lot of flexibility in this final assignment, and so I'll let you take it whatever direction you want. Please make sure that your team addresses all of these components, right, which I will be looking for, and then make sure that you would feel good that the final product actually represents your team's effort and the things you've learned in this class. So I don't say any of that to intimidate you. I just want to encourage you. You've achieved a lot, and you've done great work already, and I'm expecting to see the same level of work or higher this late in the term. If you have any questions as an individual or as a team, please reach out. I continue to get lots of feedback and have lots of conversations with students over text on the cell phone. I've had multiple phone calls with students, a lot of email traffic. I'm very available, and I've tried really hard to be super quick to respond, because I know your questions matter and that the weeks go by pretty quickly. I've really enjoyed this class as a group. You guys have cranked out great work, and it's been fun to see the kind of evolution in discussions and people getting more personal, deeper thoughts, and really, I think, creating a class culture of authenticity, and people aren't just writing fluff. I mean, I think I pointed out in my last video, a lot of the past discussion weeks, I feel like the responses are getting longer, and there's definitely a lot more interaction and dialogue, and not just some really short ideas where people are just trying to do the minimum. So with that, I hope you have an incredible week. Please reach out if I can be helpful, and I look forward to seeing your finished product.